There's no such thing as a free lunch. I feel like that phrase is not as understood as it could be. I certainly didn't really understand it for a long time, because you first hear it and you think, well, there is. If you go to a cafe and they just hand you a sandwich and you don't pay for it, it's a free lunch, isn't it? The phrase goes a lot deeper than that, because let's say you go to the cafe. Let's pick one at random. Let's say the Clapperboard Cafe, in your local town. It's a chain. It's a big chain. Clapperboard Cafe. It's all about films. Pretty cool. And they do lunch. And you go in one day. Hey, you're our 100th customer of the day. Here you go. Here's a sandwich and a coffee. So you eat the sandwich and the coffee. You haven't paid for it. So you got it for free, right? Well, no, because somebody had to make that sandwich still. And somebody has to wash the plate that the sandwich was on. So already, that's cost. The business has paid somebody to make that sandwich for you. The business has paid somebody to clean the plate for you. The business has paid for somebody to make that coffee for you. And to clean the cup. But we won't go down cleaning just because, that's another branch. We'll stick to a single line. But, that one member of staff, they may be a volunteer. Clapperboard Cafe, sure, it's got volunteers, I don't know. It's quickly starting to unravel this plot. Anyway, Benifer, we'll call this staff member, she might be a volunteer and she might not get paid. She might be offering her time for free. Makes the lunch a bit more free, huh? No, because the business still had to pay for the bread and the lettuce and the whatever filling you had. Let's call it a cheese sandwich. It's a bit of cheddar, nice cheddar. And they also had to pay for the beans and the milk that went into your nice coffee that you had. So that had to come from somewhere. But here's the thing: the supplier, let's say Bobby's Wholesale, they supplied. They were having a 2-for-1, right? So the business, Clapperboard, they did not actually pay for the blob of lettuce and the big block of cheese and the loaf of bread that they happened to use in the sandwich that they made for you. They also, their local coffee supplier, that we'll call them Yoshi's Coffee. Yoshi's Coffee gave them a bag of coffee for free. And they just, for whatever reason, they won it in a competition. So, free bag of coffee. There you go. So, the lunch is therefore free, right? The business didn't have to pay for it. The worker was not paid for it. And you haven't paid for it. But the coffee, Yoshi's Coffee, they didn't grow their own coffee. They've got to import it from somewhere. Somebody's got to pick that stuff. Somebody's got to roast it. And so Yoshi's Coffee, they've paid their staff. They've paid their people who find things. They've paid whoever roasted the coffee. They've paid whoever packed the coffee. They've paid whoever designed the bag for the coffee. They've paid for the bag itself. They've paid for shipping. They've paid for handling. They've paid for the warehouse space. They've paid for this, that, and the other. So you can't tell me that bag of coffee was really free. And even if we disregard all of that, somebody's still got to have picked the coffee. And, maybe they did it for free. But in the end, whoever's picked the coffee, they have used their time. So it's not free. If the coffee just materialised out of nowhere, and they bagged it, and they sent it off, then you could argue that it was free, but you don't get anything for nothing. And the same with the food. Somebody had to bake the bread using flour that somebody had to grind up, but somebody had to pick it as well. The cheese, somebody had to wheel that out of Cheddar Gorge, Somebody had to wheel it into Cheddar Gorge. Somebody had to do the things that you do to make cheese. I don't know how cheese is made, really. curds and whey. They had to do that. They had to send it off. They had to ship it. Somebody had to slice it into nice, useful little blocks that Bobby's Wholesale could then sell. Somebody had to grow the lettuce, and somebody had to pick the lettuce. Somebody had to, once again, ship the lettuce. Somebody had to clean the lettuce. Somebody had to churn the butter. Somebody had to pasteurize the milk used in the cheese and the butter. The point is, when somebody says there's no such thing as a free lunch, it is a very... it goes a lot further than just face value. It's... What they're really saying is, you need to value everything. And not only do you need to value the money that you're spending on your sandwich and coffee at Clapperboard Cafe, you also need to value the time put into these things. You also need to value the knowledge and experience put into these things, because, you know, anybody can just chuck a coffee together. Anybody can just chuck a sandwich together. But the reason you go to a cafe is because you're trusting somebody's expertise. Anybody could just chuck a design for a bag of coffee together, but you're paying somebody for their expertise and their time. No such thing as a free lunch. I would say, in fact, it's probably one of my top 5 idioms, but maybe we'll get onto that one. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.